Oof. Oof is all I have to say. The Celtics either blow teams out or they get blown out, and that was what happened in Game 2 in Boston, 118-94. Celtics came out hot. It actually looked almost a replica of how they started Game 1, which, as we won by 25 points, I had no issues with what they did in Game 1. In fact, I was almost damn near sure we would sweep the Cavaliers after Game 1. But then Game 2, threes weren't falling. Defense was lacking. Donovan Mitchell started to wake up. The three ball for the Cavaliers could not miss. And unfortunately, this Game 2 has a familiar feeling to Game 2 versus the Miami Heat. Now, the only thing we can hope for is that the Celtics respond the way they did after losing Game 2 to the Miami Heat, and that was winning Game 3, 4, and 5 by 20-plus points. But the Cavaliers show they are not backing down. They are not afraid of the Celtics, and it also showed me I miss Kristaps Porzingis. We're going to be breaking down our live thoughts here on the post-game show as well. So I want you guys to go on ahead and do one thing for me. Hit that sub button. We are so close, 27,000 subscribers, and we would love to have you guys with us as we are live on Sunday, on Monday, and on Wednesday for the Celtics Game 3, 4, and 5. And we put out videos like this 5 to 6 times a week telling you guys everything you need to know about the Boston Celtics. So let's go ahead and get into it. Smitty and I, before the game started, we're talking about how this is going to be Tatum's night. We were, in fact, talking about how Tatum was going to lead the Celtics to a win, and we were hoping Tatum was really going to find his scoring rhythm here tonight, which he did, and thank God he did. He had 18 points in Game 1, had 25 points in Game 2, but 2 for 5 from the three-point line. He shot 40% from the field. Didn't even nearly get the same amount of rebounds that he normally does. He's been having about 4 or 5 double-doubles throughout this season, and it just looked like that dog fell asleep.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Tatum started this game
it's beautiful.
Differently than he has in the past when he's tried to get his shot rolling. He was attacking the rim. He was getting to the free throw line, and you saw an attack mode Jayson Tatum that we haven't seen through the first couple of games in this postseason. He's been more of the facilitator. You've seen defenses create a wall, build a wall against him defensively. Tonight, they decided to go one-on-one defense with Jayson Tatum, and they let him be aggressive, but they also let the rest of the Boston Celtics do their thing as well, and those role players didn't necessarily hit their shots, and Tatum shooting 41% from the field, it wasn't necessarily efficient as well, so it was a better performance, I guess, but that's also like you're saying you're getting from absolutely awful to below average. And that's what we saw from Jayson Tatum, a below average shooting game once again. His pull-up jumper's not there, and you worry about the shooting efficiencies. Yes, he's able to get to the rack. Yes, he's able to use his body and create contact, but the shooting needs to get better at some point, and that tonight kind of rubbed off on the rest of the Boston Celtics.
And that's what's tough is that here's my biggest fear, it finally came true, is that how far can Jaylen Brown and Derrick White go on offense, who have been really leading the Boston Celtics in this in this postseason. And yes, there have been other scorers here for the Boston Celtics, but Jaylen Brown has been a dog from the first game in Miami until now. And so to only have 19 points tonight, and you see that three-point percentage as we all do.
Awful.
And you know what? And that does happen, where sometimes your shot is just not going to fall. But the fact that their shots weren't falling and every other category in the box score also failed, that's what you cannot do moving forward. Your shot doesn't fall. You work twice as hard on defense. You start to adjust down low. And I just didn't see that. I saw flashes of it from Brown, but I did not see it from Derrick White. 1 for 8, man. 3 for 11.
Yeah,
Where were you?
1 for 14 from the three-point line from Jaylen Brown and Derrick White. And Derrick White obviously has not shown up in Game 2 like he has throughout the rest of the playoffs so far. He didn't have the jumper today. The jumper wasn't falling, but he also wasn't, he played good interior defense as he normally does. Thought he played solid on-ball defense against dribble penetration as well. But when his offensive game is not there and he's shooting shots at the volume that he's used to over these postseason games so far, and they're not falling, it's really going to damper the team when obviously Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum aren't shooting the most efficiently either. So from the Celtics' primary top 3 scorers in this game, you basically got below average to absolutely terrible from all of them. You didn't get anything from Drew Holiday either.
Which you don't ever rely on his offensive points, But it was the defense early on. I loved how he was guarding Donovan Mitchell, even Isaac Okoro, even Karis LeVert. He was locking players up. But there was one play in particular that I was like, wow, the Celtics are not there on either side of the ball. The Celtics normally do a great job. They did phenomenal, textbook, switching off screens in game one, and they were nowhere to be found. They were messing up, switching on screens, leaving guys wide open. They weren't driving. They weren't closing the gaps. If one player decided to drive, nobody moved. And that's where that's tough when you see the backcourt like Drew Holiday and like Derrick White really started to fizzle out.
You got an all right game from Al Horford. This is about as good as you're going to get from him.
Started off hot.
Offensively, he did start off hot, but he ends up 4 for 9. And when he's shooting 7 threes and he's not making 5 of them, I'm not exactly enticed by a high-volume shooting night from Al Horford. So overall, just not good offensively from the Boston Celtics tonight. The shots weren't falling, and if you want to beat the Boston Celtics in the postseason, you're going to have to hope that they miss threes, and you're going to have to make threes, which is what the Cavaliers did. We're going to talk more about that in just a second.
So with all that being said, and knowing that sometimes your team is just not going to be on with their shots and on defense, as frustrating as it is, there were a lot of things that went wrong in Game 2 for the Boston Celtics. A lot of them resemble what went wrong in Game 2 versus the Miami Heat. Now, looking forward, hopefully, to our Round 3 Game 2, what is your biggest gripe with the Celtics' loss? With mine, it's just the return of bad habits. It's the falling apart when your 3-ball isn't falling. You have got to show me there is more effort there, because the lack of effort will send you home very soon. What is your biggest gripe with the Celtics loss? While you guys are commenting on that, hey, some of you guys might want to write a paragraph. That's all good. That was a tough loss. With that being said, why don't you guys go on ahead, test out your skills, and make yourself a little bit happy by playing the most fun daily fantasy sports app there is in America. I play it every single day. This is PrizePicks. If you guys want to go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, that is how you are going to get a first-time deposit match up to $100 by using code CLNS. And if you're wondering, Allie, what is PrizePicks? What is this aesthetically pleasing game you're showing me on my screen right now? Well, PrizePicks is super easy. All you have to do is pick more or less on a player's projected stats, and that's it. It takes you less than 60 seconds. I never used to put money down on games because I didn't understand it. It looked like a spreadsheet to me, and I'm not good at numbers. PrizePicks makes it super easy. I don't have to think about it most of the time, and they're constantly offering promotions that make me want to play. I know Caitlin Clark is going to have more than 1 point in her WNBA debut on Tuesday. It's almost a guarantee. So I'm going to be taking the more on that, and 1 point equals 1 win. They're pretty much giving me a free square. But I did have Derrick White having more than 19.5 points, and they warned me, man. PrizePicks warned me. They gave me a demon for his pick, which is a harder projected stat line, but it does pay out more. Well, unfortunately, Derrick White only had 10 points tonight, so that was not successful. But hey, we're hoping Caitlin Clark could at least make this 50-50 and win me some money. You guys go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100, and pick more, pick less. It is truly that easy to watch yourself win some real money in real time. We got to talk about Spida. I knew this was coming, and to be honest, this wasn't even a high-scoring game for somebody like Donovan Mitchell. He scored more in Game 1, but it was the confidence. It was the cockiness. It was the ability to drive past any defender that stepped in his way. He took the Celtics number, ate it, chewed it up, and spit it out by the second half. He didn't have that great of a first half. It was Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley went to sleep in the second half. Donovan Mitchell woke up, and you can see it right now. I hope the Celtics work on nothing but defense in their day off to stop Donovan Mitchell from ever shooting 53% and 72% from the field.
Yeah, you kind of explained it best. I mean, Donovan Mitchell at times in this third and fourth quarter, the second half as a whole, was unconscious. He was hitting fall-away three-pointers. He was banking it in from the top of the key, and that's when I kind of knew this one was chalked up. When Donovan Mitchell's hitting high-level shots like that, and then you couple that with the Celtics' inefficiency behind the three-point line, it's going to be a recipe for a Cavaliers win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I do want to talk more about Evan Mobley because he asserted himself early on in this ball game. It kind of set the tone for the Cavaliers. 10 boards, 21 points, but the rebounding early on, the mismatches that he got were advantageous for Cleveland and disadvantageous for the Celtics. Obviously, Cleveland out-rebounded Boston tonight by a pretty substantial margin before the subs came in, of course, and everybody was missing shots, But Evan Mobley tonight was really the catalyst for the way that Cleveland played their basketball. They played physical, they played efficiently on the inside, and then when you're playing a physical brand of basketball and you're getting easy looks on the inside, that's only going to open up three-pointers for your team. And
right.
that's what Cleveland did. They ended up shooting a blistering 46% from the three-point line. So when the Celtics
sound familiar?
When the Celtics hold teams to under 50 or under 46% from the three-point line, they're going to win the basketball game.
Yeah.
But tonight, you let them hit 13 threes on a 46% clip, and you let them shoot 55% from the field overall. Things were coming easy for the Cavaliers tonight offensively.
It was.
And the Celtics just had no answer, especially when they shoot 21% from the three-point line.
This is literally probably a replica of Game 2 against the Miami Heat.
Yep.
And it's really unfortunate because I thought we had already learned our lesson, packed that up, and vowed never to bring it back up. But I also see that it was only 13 three-pointers made, and you can look at that and be like, oh, it's not that many for the Cleveland Cavaliers, blah, blah, they make a lot more. They're momentum threes. The fact that Donovan Mitchell can come out, start at a halftime draining a three. They go back down on defense. They force a turnover. They come back. Darius Garland drains a three. For love of God, the Celtics did not want to be there.
I agree. And whenever the Celtics had, they chipped into that lead. When the Cavs kind of took it over. They were going up 10, 12, 13 by the middle of that third quarter. Whenever the Celtics would get it back to 9, get it back to 8 or so, Cavaliers would respond with a 3 or an easy bucket, or they get a stop and a score. And the Celtics really never were able to claw their way back in. I don't think they ever even got it to a 2-possession ball game after the Cavaliers took it 15 or more. So they had no answer, no confidence, and really they lacked a little bit of effort tonight as far as I saw.
That's why Game 2, Miami Heat. Everything you're saying, I feel like we've already talked about this, and I hope to God we never have to talk about it again.
Yeah,
but
it seems like we're getting one of these games every single series. So
and it's falling into Game 2s.
Hopefully they can right their wrongs, kind of replicate what they did in the first round, and we can move on after the national media for the next 2 days decides that the Celtics can't win a championship anymore. I wouldn't say I'm the most confident after these losses, but at the end of the day, the media is going to get their stories out, and they're going to say the Celtics are not fit to be a champion. I already got Marshall Green in my ear telling me the same thing.
I promise there's a reason why these series go to 7. It's, it is what it is. You're not going to sweep everybody. If they did, then this would be a much different storyline to this season. So with that being said, the Celtics had the opportunity to take the lead once more in Game 3 by winning that ball game, taking it up 2-1, and keep moving on with the postseason. But I'm going to be honest, I'm going to give it a 5. I've seen this story before. I read it. I hated it. I threw it away, and it came back on my bookshelf, and we saw it in Game 2 of Round 2. And I'm getting really nervous. This is going to become a pattern moving forward, so that's why I'm going to give it a 5. I'm not worried about the performance. I know they can step up, but I'm worried about the bad habits being the Achilles heel of the Boston Celtics. So I'm going to be a little bit of a naysayer. I'll give it 50%. I'll give it a 5. You guys scale how confident you are in the Boston Celtics moving forward. And when they move forward, we are going to talk about it here on Celtics Today by Chat Sports. We're live for every single ball game. We do not sleep. We do not miss anything. We make sure you guys have everything you need. All you guys have to do is hit that sub button for me.